Welcome, this is Sarah from Joaracrafts, and in this video I will demonstrate how to create these bracelets. All of these are created using the same method, which I will demonstrate by making this cord from scratch and record the whole process for you to follow along to. So let's get started. You will need a small crochet hook. The one I have here is a Boyer number 6. I think that one works pretty well with the size or for this thread. The thread I'm using is Anchor for this size of beads, Anchor size 8, and this is a beige thread. For the beads I'm using 2 colors, and it is Matsuno size 8 beads. It usually works well with this. If you want to use smaller thread and smaller beads, size 11 beads are fine, and then I would like to use this jean stitch polyester thread. It's quite small, used for stitching jeans in sewing machines. Smaller sewing thread is not recommended. I have not managed to make that work yet. So when you start, and if this is the first time you do this, you would like to have something in order to bead the thread. I like to have all the beads on the spool of thread as you go crocheting later on. So you should just do every second one for the first time you're doing this, because it's much easier to see what you're doing later on, as you will notice as we get further in this video. And this is also much easier to do with a bead needle, because then you can just string them like this. And the way these beads are sorted or beaded on the thread will matter for how the end product will look like. So this kind of every second bead will have a spiraling effect of these 2 beads. If you do just one color, the whole thing will be one color, but you can't just do 3 beads and then 3 beads of another color and then another 3 beads of the same color, because that's gonna, it's not gonna have the effect you think it will have, as everything is spiraling. So we'll start with beading these on and then continue with the rest. So now I have threaded all my beads that are required for this project. 1 centimeter of cord does not require 1 centimeter of thread, it's much more than that. When I done a bracelet of 20 centimeters, it has required almost 8 meters of thread, so therefore I prefer to have everything kept on the spool as you keep on going, because otherwise you will have a lot of thread used all over the place. It's better just to keep it on the spool, and you take as you go basically, and you can just shove the rest of the beads away. I have also threaded them every second one, so every second one is a different color, and this will be at the start this is preferable because it is quite hard the first 3 rows to see what you're doing if this is the first time. So it's recommended to do 2 different colors that are contrasting to each other, so you can see what you're doing. And I will now demonstrate how to do the first 3 rows. So first you would like to do a normal slip knot, and you want to do it some distance in. I don't know, this is like 20 centimeters. What's that, 10 inches? I don't know. And you take your crochet hook, insert it in the slip knot, just pull it close. Then you want to bring forth the first 6 beads, which are also the last 6 beads you threaded on the thread, because you're walking backwards. So you bring forth the first bead, you bring it up close, you do yarn over, and just pull through. So the next one, you bring up the second bead, bring it close, put the crochet hook on top of the yarn over, and pull through. Third time. So bead, crochet hook on top, yarn over, and pull through. And this is how you do the first 6 ones. So you just continue. These are the first 6 beads. Quite simple. And the first row and from the 5th and onwards are the simplest ones. Now the tricky part starts. This first bead you want to move it over here. So you just flip everything over from the underside. Just wanna pull everything over there. And then you bring forth the next 6 beads. 4, 6. Bring them close. And here it's quite important you bring only forward the next 6 ones, because it's gonna be tricky to tell which ones you're doing. Bring the crochet hook in between the bead and the thread. Like so. Push the bead over to the right. Yarn over, so you want to have the thread on top of the bead. This is important, and I will show you why later. You bring forth the next bead, which is going to be blue. Make sure the thread is still on top. Yarn over, pull through, pull through. That's the first bead. Now we do the same thing again. So the hook in between the bead and the thread. Flip it over to the right. Thread over. Bring forth the next bead. That is gonna be pink. Pink on pink. Yarn over. And pull through. Now I do the same here again. And here you can already see that it's tricky. Here we have 2, but over here it's a mess over what bead we're supposed to crochet. We have a blue, then pink, blue, pink, but it looks like we have blue, pink, pink, blue. But we know that for every second ones, we know it's supposed to be blue, pink, blue, pink. All of these have been the same color. It would be very hard to know if you were supposed to crochet in this pink or this blue. But now we know it's going to be a blue one. So in under the blue and between the thread, push it over to the right, yarn over or thread over, push in the blue bead, yarn over the hook and pull through all the way. And now here is a mess. It's very hard to tell what's what, but we know it's gonna be a pink one, and this is the closest pink. So we do thread in under the pink in between the thread. So in there, push it over to the right, thread over, push in the pink, yarn over, and pull through. Also here it's very hard now to tell which ones you had crochet before, if they are the same color, if you had all the beads in the same color. Because here it now looks like the pink and the blue are the same, that they would be part of the same spiral basically, but these 2 are row 1 and these 2 are row 2. So that's why we only want to push over the next 6 beads. Okay, so then we do the same here. We know it's a blue one, so in through under the blue and the thread. It's a bit tight apparently. So in, push over, thread over, in with the blue, yarn over and pull all the way through. There we go. And now it's the last pink one. So the same here goes. In, right, over, yarn over, and pull through. That is the second row. Okay, so now is the third row, and also here bring forth the next 6 beads. Here we have 4, and we do the same procedure. It's this yarn over and all of that. So here it's blue, so we do blue in between, push the bead to the right, thread over, in with the blue, yarn over and pull all the way through. And this is repeated over and over again. This hook in between, push to the right, pull in the bead, yarn over and pull through is the method to crochet these. So now we know we have 3 beads left, because here it's also very hard to tell how many you have. Now it's much easier as well, because now you see that, okay, I have 3 blue ones here and I only have 2 pink, so row 4 would start here then. There you go, and you also see that you have 3 beads left here. So then you just continue, pull this one in, through, next one, in, and then in with you, and pull all the way through. And now the last pink. And here we see we have 3 blue ones and 2 pink ones, so we know it's this pink. This is why it's recommended that when you start doing this for the first time and you have never done it before, have 2 contrasting colors so you can tell what's what. Okay, so now we can see that this is now a very tiny cord. And now everything is having a bit more of a structure. So you can easily now just continue. You don't need to bring forth 6. You can bring forth as many as you like or as little as you like. I usually like to bring in a bunch and then keep the rest further away. And now we can use crochet because now you can clearly tell what's what. So you just bring in next. And everything is also starting to get more structure as you're getting to the third row. So you will actually have a proper cord and not just a hop collection of beads on a thread that looks almost like it could be something. But now you actually have what looks like a cord with beads on top. And then you can just crochet to your until you run out of beads basically. So it's the amount of beads you have strung up at the start will determine how long the bracelet or the cord will be in the end. So here we have, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4. So now it's going to be row 5, and here we see now that everything is getting shape. As you can also see is that everything is turning this way. Everything is turning to the left. And you're crocheting around anti-clockwise. So everything will be turning in the opposite of direction to what you are crocheting. I will now show what happens if you accidentally put the thread under the bead instead. If you were to put this one here, but you didn't put the thread over here, but you kept it down here, and then you bring in the next bead, a blue one, and you do yarn over and in through, pull through, you see that this looks weird. All of the other ones look very ordered, but that blue one looks double. and that is because they get twisted. They want to land on top of each other, but now they are like intermingled. So, and you don't want that. It's gonna look really ugly later, and it's gonna be hard to tell which one you're supposed to crochet in. The best thing to do when you notice that this happens is that you just unravel everything up until that point. When you do, you can easily insert the hook to catch the thread as well. So, and we're back. So therefore we do yarn over or thread over, bead in, yarn over, and like this. And now you see it ended up as it should. You can also see that the beads are laying down, whereas here they're standing up, and that's what happens when you push it in or push it. So when you push it over, you make it stand up here. So that is what makes it stand. And that is how you start making the cord. It's quite simple really, once you know how to do it. And this is basically it. Most of the work before you start crocheting goes in at the very start, and when you thread the beads on the thread basically, or you thread the beads. So that's very simple. You just continue like this all the way. So we have now crocheted most of the cord, and we have the last 8 beads to do. So I will do these 8 beads. It's just the same as before. Just continue all the way. This kind of project or this kind of craft is very nice to do because most of the work of it goes in at the start before you even start doing the main crochet part, like beading the thread. So once everything is on the thread or on the spool, you can easily bring this with you on the bus and sit and crochet this on the bus or on the train or your daily commute. Here we have the clock. I don't know if the clock is audible. Okay, so now the last 3. I have also cut the thread on this one. So now we have, and the last one. And now we're on the last one, and as you can see, all the previous rows are standing, whereas the last row you made is lying down, and that is going to be a problem because we want them to look the same, everything standing. But there's a very easy way to solve this. You use crochet another row but without the bead. So you do the exact same thing. You do under the bead, thread over, yarn over, and pull through. So the exact same as you did before, just without the bead step. So you don't slip in the bead because there is no bead. You still need to push this bead that's already crocheted to the right, otherwise it won't be lying down. But this is how you do it. And the very last one. And here we go. So we now have them all laying down, and you also can see the very last bead is going to be sitting on top and create this little ledge here, and there is no way to get around this, because even if you were to remove this bead, this one will be sitting on top, and the same goes for this one. So that's used to them circling around. But now you would like to fasten, or you would want to fasten the thread. So I usually used crochet in between here somewhere and pull the thread through just to fasten everything. And this is the cord finished. So that is the principle on how to crochet with beads, making these cords. That is the basis for the bracelets and the necklaces. And that's it. That is how you, with one simple method to create this one, also can create bracelets like these ones. Also very more festive ones. This one has Christmas trees. Simple loop bangle one, or even this one that is split in half. All of these utilizes the same method. The only difference is how they were threaded on the thread at the start. If you liked this video, please or found it useful, you know what to do, that like, comment, subscribe thing. And if you'd like to have the written instructions, they're available in our Etsy shop, as are these bracelets.